Welcome to the Cross Creek On Demand podcast, a podcast for you because God is for you. Why does it feel like we're more connected than ever, yet lonelier than ever? We scroll, we text, we like, but something's still missing. What if the secret to real connection isn't found in our feeds, but in a rhythm of life we've forgotten? In this episode, we'll look at how the first Jesus followers discovered a way of community that broke down walls and brought people together, and how it could be the answer we've been searching for. So, let's talk about it together. Okay, have you ever skipped a family get-together? Not because you're busy or sick, but because that one person, that one you clash with, was going to be there. Have you ever unfriended someone just because a post made you realize you're on opposite sides of an issue? Or maybe you've had those awkward moments where someone shares an opinion you wholeheartedly disagree with, and you have to make an internal mental note that this one person, they're one of them, right? They're not safe. The weight of the division around us can be crushing. And so what do? We pull away. We trade deep conversations for short texts, real connection for surface talk. And every time we do that, we get a bit lonelier. Instead of gathering around tables, we're scrolling in silence. Instead of sharing prayers or meals, we're protecting ourselves from disappointment and losing more and more of what makes life worth living. We've created rhythms of isolation. But deep down, we ache for real connection and a community we can call home. And that's what Jesus came to give to the world. A new kind of community, not based on nationality, race, economic status, or political stances, but a community that can heal our divisions and pull us out of our rhythms of isolation. It's a community based on his love. As he told his disciples, "So now I am giving you a new commandment, love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." And amazingly, his first followers actually took him seriously. Instead of creating rhythms of isolation in a world that was very other than them, they created a rhythm of community. And by looking at their example, we'll see that we reclaim unity by prioritizing a rhythm of community. So let's take a look at what it would look like, not in theory, but right here, right now, to take Jesus' words seriously. What if the best thing we can do for the world is simply start purposely hanging out with each other? The historian Luke, in his account in Acts, describes what this first church was like. All the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. So, the answer is just to live in a socialist commune. Yes, it is. So email us, and we'll send you your matching white robe to fit with everyone else. No, but often, isn't that how we read the Bible? Right? They did this. It seems like the Bible says that's a good thing, so we need to do it exactly like that. But there's a difference between the biblical writers describing something and prescribing something. This passage is describing what the first church did, not prescribing what every church should do, no matter their context, location, or century. And so Jesus followers today are not required to copy the exact practices of Jesus followers then, but we're called to embody the same commitments and spirit in our own context. And this passage tells us what the early church experienced. It's not necessarily a step-by-step blueprint for us, but it does show us the heart that should guide us. And so let's look a little closer at their rhythm here. He says, all the believers devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to sharing in meals, including the Lord's Supper, and to prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. So what do all these things they did have in common? Well, none of them happened while they were sitting alone in their houses watching their favorite gladiator team. No, they prioritized being together. They learned and discussed the same teachings. They hung out, they ate, and they prayed together. They realized faith grows by regularly acting it out with other people. See, we can't love each other like Jesus loved us if we aren't together. We can't forgive each other if we don't know each other well enough to have a real conversation about how we've hurt each other. We can't support and encourage each other if we don't know what's going on in each other's lives. Their faith wasn't just a me and Jesus thing. It wasn't just about what they believed in their individual heads with a little bit of solo, quiet Bible reading in their room and then going to a Jesus show once a week, shaking a few hands and getting their spiritual fill up for the next 7 days. No, the first Jesus followers actually created a community based on the love of Jesus. And it affected their daily life and how they saw their place in the world in some major ways. And all the believers met together in one place and shared everything they had. They sold their property and possessions and shared the money with those in need. They worshiped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity. Isn't that crazy? Like, aren't you glad this is descriptive and not prescriptive and you have to sell everything? I know some of you would love to sell everything and just go live off the grid or build a compound with your family or friends. But this is a lot. And maybe for some of you, yeah, you're supposed to sell everything. But here's the main heart here. The first Jesus followers were a visible, living, dynamic community, actually and actively doing things together and for each other. They had a shared purpose they believed in, so much so they were willing to sacrifice to make it happen. Real change happens when we follow Jesus together. See, this is why the idea of my church as being alone in the woods with God doesn't actually work. First, it's not grammatically correct. The church isn't a place or building you go to. It's the group of people. But more importantly, while it's great, and it is great to get away to enjoy God's creation, hear Him without all the noise of our world, Jesus didn't come to earth and die and rise again just so we can have some private moments with Him once in a while. He came to change the world through His love, specifically by His love shining through His people as they work, serve, and love together. And this type of community requires a commitment to having a rhythm of being together. And when that type of rhythm is prioritized, more and more people want to be a part of it, and God uses that unity to change lives and communities. Let's look again at what happened. All the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to their fellowship those who were being saved. See, their rhythm of community and purpose created joy, and everyone around them saw a difference. Instead of fear, they saw peace and generosity. Instead of partisan division, they saw unity. Instead of everyone looking out for number one, they saw a real, loving community. And it made the people around them want that life too. See, following Jesus is more about a rhythm of practiced community than personal development. And the first church wasn't perfect. They had a lot to work through, but they changed the world because they experienced a community formed by God's love that was accepting, generous, and transforming. And that same kind of community, marked by Jesus' love, is still open to you and me today. That's why our church, Cross Creek, exists. That's why our mission statement is inviting our neighbors to discover, enjoy, and share the life Jesus offers together. It's why our name is Cross Creek Community Church. You are invited to join a community based on the love of Jesus, not politics, race, or rules. And do we always agree on everything? No. But we are committed to making our love stronger than our disagreements. Does it require going to church every week? No, but it does require people. And normally, in most churches and in our history, this is where I would give the pitch for you all to join one of our small connect groups. And I would say things like, circles are better than rows, and we need to be in circles together, which I believe is true. But in the heart of creating healthy rhythms, the leadership team has decided that we're going to take some time off from our official Cross Creek Connect groups for a while. First, because the facilitators were also our leadership team who already do a lot of heavy lifting here. And see, not only were they facilitating, but most of them were also the hosts of their group, meaning they had to have their houses ready each week, whether people were going to show up or not. And believe me, I think small groups are amazing. I've had some amazing discussions and I made some really, really good friends through small groups. But as I was writing this and thinking how to explain all of this, I realized Do we really need the church organization to make this type of community for us? Do you need me telling you who your friends need to be? Like, why does it all have to be organized with specific leaders and frameworks? Having another to do on our weekly calendars? Like, what if we took some time for a bit, for a season, and trusted the Holy Spirit to lead us to people and groups that He needs us to be with right now? So, instead of doing a big push to get everyone to sign up for a group, I'm just going to offer this simple invitation. This week, and hopefully going forward, purposely practice a rhythm of community. Meaning, like, invite someone for a meal or coffee. Pray with or for someone. Send a text, make a call, write an email, have a Zoom chat. Even if you come on Sundays, stick around after the service for snack time. It's why we have it, so people would connect with each other. Ask a real question, meet someone new. And maybe as you're trying these things, maybe some will stick, maybe some won't. But maybe something you try turns into a regular rhythm. Maybe you even, through this, end up creating your own group, which is totally great. We have discussion questions at the end of each of these messages to help you discuss this stuff if you want to. And I know if you're listening to this, one of the reasons you're listening, it might be because you're not able to be physically with Cross Creek right now on Sundays. So listen, this is not a guilt trip in any way. I know a lot of your stories and why you can't be there. I totally understand. And you can still practice this rhythm. You can still email somebody or text somebody or Zoom with somebody. And maybe for all of us, this might take time to connect. Like, we have a busy world and we're all learning to change our rhythms, but people are like Lego pieces, right? We all have a certain amount of connectors, and once they're filled, they're filled. Some people have more, some people have less. And throughout the series, we're not trying to add more things to do, but as we practice a rhythm of rest and rethinking our priorities, maybe be open to adding a few more connections here and there. Because when we purposely get together, we let God's love flow through us to each other. And I can't do it all. I'm just one guy. And you have to connect with each other. You have to support each other. You have to pray for each other. You have to help each other. You have to be there for each other. And now maybe your first step in all this isn't hanging out with someone, but maybe it's accepting how much you are already loved and welcomed by Jesus. There are no prerequisites. Just a simple, honest step of telling Jesus you want to follow Him and let Him lead you as you walk with His community. And whoever you are, whatever you've done or haven't done, you are invited. Just tell Him, Jesus, I want to follow you. I want to be part of your community. And now, as we finish this series, can we just imagine together? What would life be like if we really did this stuff? What if we reclaimed our ordinary lives by practicing rhythms of savoring what God has given us, purposely resting, being connected to Jesus, giving our ordinary moments to Him, and choosing to purposely follow Him together? Our lives would really change. Stress, fear, anxiety, and anger would slowly dissolve. We would find new joy in our regular days. We would enjoy our families and friends even more. There would be a difference in us and in our church that people would notice. We would be in a position to allow God to love those around us through us. We would be a bright light pointing to something better than what's offered around us. So let's take our cue from the first Jesus followers and take Jesus seriously. You don't have to be perfect, just willing and together. That's how we start to see the change we are all longing for. The world doesn't need perfect people, just ordinary people reclaiming ordinary lives together.